In the grip of the winter storm of 2026, Wisconsin transformed into a frozen hellscape. Blizzards howled across the Midwest, dumping feet of snow and plunging temperatures to deadly lows. News anchors pleaded for residents to stay indoors, warning of whiteouts, hypothermia, and the rare but real danger of wildlife driven mad by hunger. But Maya and Zach, young lovers from Milwaukee, laughed it off. "It's just snow," Zach said, his breath fogging the car window as they pulled into the parking lot of Nicollet National Park. "We've got jackets, boots, and each other. What's the worst that could happen?" They bundled up in thermal layers, slung backpacks with snacks and a compass, and trudged into the woods. The park was a winter wonderland at first. Towering pines bowed under snow, and air crisp and silent except for the crunch of their footsteps. Maya snapped photos on her phone, her cheeks rosy with excitement. "This is magical," she whispered, linking arms with Zach. An hour in, they spotted it, a massive black bear, its fur dusted white, stripping bark from a fallen oak with powerful claws. It was foraging desperately, the snow having buried its usual food sources. Maya gasped, pulling Zach to a halt. "Look, it's so close." The bear paused, sniffing the air, but didn't seem to notice them. They watched in awe, hearts pounding with a mix of fear and wonder. "Nature's badass," Zach murmured, grinning. They lingered too long, mesmerized, before pressing on. But the storm intensified. Winds whipped snow into blinding sheets, erasing their tracks. The compass spun uselessly in the magnetic interference from the geomagnetic disturbances the news had mentioned. "We should have turned back," Maya said, voice trembling as dusk fell early. Zach tried to reassure her, but panic set in. They wandered in circles, the forest a labyrinth of identical trees. No signal on their phones, no path to the car. Exhaustion hit hard. They huddled under a snow-laden spruce, digging a shallow pit to block the wind. Maya pressed against Zach, their bodies sharing what little heat remained. "I love you," she whispered, teeth chattering. Frost nipped at their extremities. Fingers and toes went numb. Hours blurred into agony. In the distance, through the swirling white, Maya glimpsed a black shape. Hulking, shadowy, it vanished in the gusts like a ghost. "Did you see that?" she asked. Zach mumbled incoherently, his eyes fluttering shut. Hypothermia was claiming him. "Zach, wake up!" She shook him, but he slumped, unconscious, his breath shallow. Terror surged through Maya. She couldn't carry him. With frozen limbs, screaming, she began crawling, dragging herself through the snow on hands and knees. "Help!" she screamed into the void, but the wind swallowed her cries. Before her, the black figure reappeared. Closer now, not a shadow, the bear. It lumbered toward Zach's prone form, nostrils flaring at the scent of vulnerability. Maya froze, watching in horror from 20 yards away, her body too weak to intervene. The bear sniffed Zach, then struck with brutal efficiency. Claws raked across his chest, tearing through layers of fabric and flesh. Zach didn't scream. He was already gone, his body limp as the beast clamped jaws around his throat. Blood streamed on the snow, crimson blooming in the white. The bear fed ravenously, ripping chunks from his abdomen, entrails spilling like frozen ropes. Maya retched, tears freezing on her lashes, but she forced herself to keep crawling. "No, no, no," she whimpered, the wet crunch of bone and sinew echoing in her ears. Sated for the moment, the bear dragged Zach's mutilated corpse deeper into the woods. Maya glanced back, unable to look away. The animal pawed at the snow, digging through the frozen earth beneath. It buried the body in a shallow cache, a instinctual hoard for later meals. Then, marking its territory, the bear lifted a leg and unleashed a torrent of urine, steaming, acrid piss that soaked the snow and Zach's remains. The stench hit Maya even from afar, a foul, musky steam rising like a demonic fog. She gagged, her vision blurring. The world spun, cold claiming her completely. Blackness swallowed her whole. Maya awoke to beeping machines and sterile lights. A hospital room in Rhinelander, monitors tracking her vitals. Pain throbbed everywhere, but her left arm, it was gone. Bandages wrapped a stump just below the elbow. "What happened?" she croaked, a nurse rushing in. The story unfolded in fragments from doctors and rangers. A search party, mobilized after their car was found abandoned, braved the storm. They tracked footprints and blood trails, arriving just as the bear returned to its cache. It had mauled Maya while she was unconscious, ripping her arm clean off in a frenzy before turning back to Zach. The rescuers shot it dead, a 400-pound black bear, starved and aggressive from the prolonged winter. Frostbite had ravaged Maya's toes and remaining fingers. Surgeons amputated several to save her hands and feet. Zach, he was dead on arrival. They'd exhumed his body from the cache. The bear had returned to it, ripping off his face in post-mortem savagery, exposing skull and muscle. Worse, the carcass was defiled, urine-soaked, and in a final grotesque act, the bear had defecated on it, a steaming pile of scat mixed with the piss, marking its kill indelibly. Maya stared at the ceiling, the horror replaying in her mind. The storm had taken everything, her love, her limb, her innocence. Outside, snow still fell, whispering warnings she should have heeded. In the quiet of recovery, she wondered if the bear's spirit lingered, a black shadow in the white, waiting for the next fool to venture out.